This video series is brought to you by the ASU Writing Center within the Academic Support Network. Thank you for joining me as we discuss Part 4 of Chicago Citation. This video, our fourth in the series, will discuss bibliographies and reference lists. Let's get started. First, to review, there are two systems of citation style in Chicago style. The first is the notes bibliography system. This will include superscript numbers that refer to a footnote or endnote and a separate bibliography, which includes every source cited in the paper. Additionally, there is the author date system, which includes parenthetical citation with an author and date that then refers to a reference list that will be included at the end. And this looks and feels similar to APA or MLA citation. We will discuss how to create a bibliography or a reference list, regardless of the system that you're using. First, we want to cover bibliography entries. So these are the characteristics and information that needs to be included for a bibliography entry. All bibliography entry information will be separated by periods. This is different from a note entry, which had the information separated by a comma. The first thing you need to include is the author. The first listed author's name will be inverted, so you will list their last name before their first name. This is so that the reference list or bibliography can be alphabetized by author's last name. However, if there are second, third, or additional authors that need to be included, after you list the first author, you will list all other authors in standard, so first name first. Next, you'll need to include the title. This will be in title case, meaning all major words are capitalized, and the first and last word are also capitalized. For titles of larger works like books or journals, you need to italicize these titles. For titles of smaller works like chapters or articles, these are not italicized, but they are in quotation marks. Then you will need to list the facts of publication. This is information like the location of publication, the publisher, the publication date, the volume, edition, or issue number. Terms like editor, translator, volume, and edition will be abbreviated when you write these out, but verbs like edited by or translated by are spelled out in a bibliography. And finally, page numbers. So for a book cited in its whole, page numbers are not needed in the bibliography entry because they've been included in the note entry. For easier location of articles, chapters, or sections within a book or journal, you would want to include the beginning and ending page numbers. And finally, for longer works without page numbers, you could use other descriptive locators like a paragraph number or other kind of information. However, this may not be necessary with online sources. Let's look at an example of a bibliography. So you can see here we have our author listed and it is inverted. So the last name is listed first. But then in our second bibliography entry, you will see that the, again, first author is listed in an inverted fashion. So their last name is first, but the second author is listed in standard. So they are first name first. This is the correct format for a bibliography. Again, it is so it can be alphabetized according to first author, last name. You will notice that there are periods separating these categories of information. Again, this is different from the note, which used commas. So you want to pay attention to the details here. And then we have our title. So again, it will be italicized for a longer work, like a book in this case. And if this was a shorter work, like an article or a section, or if it included a shorter work, like an article or section, then we would put it in quotes. And then we have the facts of publication. So for both of these, you can see that it lists the location, the publisher, and then the date it was published. And then you will notice a lack of page numbers here because these books are being cited in their entirety, therefore they are not needed. However, the notes that reference these citations would have page numbers included because they would be referring to a specific section of the book. Some characteristics that we should review for bibliographies and reference lists. Bibliographies and reference pages should be alphabetized by the first author's last name, which again, because of the way it's formatted, will be the first word of every entry. The fundamental difference between a bibliography and a reference list is that a bibliography is a list of sources when you're using the note system. A reference list is the list of sources when you are using the author date system. And a reference list is almost formatted just like a bibliography, except that the date is having a higher priority, so it will be listed as the second element, and we will show you an example of that. So for our reference example, you can see that the publication date has been moved up in the formatting. So we have our authors listed, then the publication year, and then it continues on to list the title, the publication information, etc. So rules for author, title, facts of publication, and page number is going to be the same from a bibliography to a reference list. We are simply just moving up the year of publication. It does not need to be repeated later in the facts of publication. It is just moved forward. If you have any questions about anything we've covered in this video, our online study hub is a great place to post questions and get a tutor response or a peer response. And if you would like to continue learning about Chicago style or find good resources for answering questions that you might have, you can use the Chicago Manual of Style website, where you'll find the online manual, sample papers, and even more guidance for various citation styles. Thank you so much.